and welcome to another episode of Mr. Mawater. Today I'm filming something insane. I'm with Techart to film some of their latest models, and I'm actually filming an episode in Arabic. So I thought, why not? Let me take this opportunity to film also another video in English for you guys to see this insanity that's happening behind me. Now these are two very new vehicles from Techart. One of them is based on the Porsche GTS and the other one is based on the 911 Turbo. Even the GTS with Techart makes more power than the 911 Turbo stock. So this GTS is rated at 640 horsepower and it's rear-wheel drive. So imagine the kind of insanity when driving the vehicle. The attention to detail you find in Techart vehicles is crazy. So for example, this hood cover in the front uses a carbon fiber that matches the OEM carbon fiber that comes from Porsche. So they had to use the same weave to make this hood cover. And this also looks similar to the GT3, the GT cars from Porsche, with functional vents on the front. And they have added some front splitters to give it some more downforce at the front end and make it look a little bit more aggressive. Now this front bumper has been opened up as well to let some air out. And they have given it those lightweight rims and they are forged. These are light at the front, it's 10 kilograms each, 12 kilograms each at the rear. And what's special and unique about these rims is that the right side is different actually to the left side. You can see how directional they are. They are facing this angle. If you come over to the other side, same story. It's facing this angle forward. So they didn't just copy paste the rims from side to side. Aside from that, the side skirts are also Techart parts. Mirror caps are Techart parts. But what's mostly striking is the rear end. You have this second, let's say, spoiler or wing, but this specific Techart wing is also unique and looks like nothing else. I like this detail, how they followed the stock or OEM lines and continued these two lines to fit in with a spoiler. It makes it look like this was designed from factory. And the idea behind it is to make it look like it's split into two parts and to make this look like the only mount for the rear wing. They've even used polycarbonate material on the sides just to hide the supports and to make it appear like it's floating. Of course, Techart also replaces the Porsche logos with Techart logos, and they have this little diffuser at the back. Personally, I would prefer if these blades are fully black without the yellow stripes. Before coming to this crazy vehicle, let me show you the interior of this first, of the GTS. It still has the 918 seats from Porsche, but they've added this roll cage in the back, which looks similar in color to the rims. They've also added some leather inserts inside the Alcantara. The attention to detail is crazy. As well as the steering wheel, you will see how the boost button has been colored in yellow. The Alcantara has some yellow perforations, and overall the rim of the steering is thicker than the standard Porsche rim. Specific Techart floor mats. But if you think this isn't insane enough for you, come over and check out this crazy machine. The idea behind this is to create a track monster out of the 911 Turbo. You can tell it's a turbo from the vents in the back. Although they have not left them stock, you can see how much carbon has been added and how deeper they look. And there are weight reduction components all over the car. You saw the front hood on the GTS. The hood over here is manual. There's no button to release it. You have to open it up manually. And look how they've left this in carbon, but they've painted the central portions. Now this is the logo of the Flyweight. I really like how this branding is working out for the car. I think this is a very successful brand image for the Flyweight. And the naming is very smart. It reminds me of the flyweight category in boxing. So this definitely punches way above its weight class. Now you will see how deep this front splitter is. Some of you might get worried that it could get damaged on racetracks or on the highway. But what they've done is they've added protection in the bottom part. This is all like a rubbery material which helps protect the carbon splitter. The wheels on this Flyweight are also lighter than the GTS. You can see all the openings and aims of reducing the wheel weight. And all the components you see, all the fender vents, everything over here is finished in carbon fiber. Even the painted fenders are carbon fiber. It's raining like crazy, so let me rush a little bit. And to save some additional weight, this is all polycarbonate material. And look how they've added the branding of the flies in this area. Now everything is carbon, like we've seen. They haven't left any component without carbon fiber, and this is all also manually operated. But the rear wing, look, have you ever seen a wing that's 3 levels? I think it looks similar to the Black Series from Mercedes-Benz, and this is adjustable manually. You can't really operate it electrically from the inside. And again, they've replaced the Techart logos instead of the Porsche logos. But look at that rear end. This is so aggressive. Driving behind this looks like driving behind Batman. It has a full exhaust system. It's really loud. Look at the Techart branding. And I don't think I've seen anything as aggressive as this Porsche, with all the added width and details in it. And the detail I liked is the openings you see for the rear spoiler. This is actually functional, and you can see the colors inside. Even though you'll never see it in reality, it's color matched to the exterior of the car. Now, speaking of color matching, check out this insane interior. They've gone above and beyond. First of all, Flyweight, limited to only 19 worldwide. This is number 0, the test car, and this is actually painted. It's not a sticker, yeah? Attention to detail. And speaking of that, look at the stitching. It's 2 different colors for the stitching, and they even have the stitching on the door panel with the branding of the Flyweight. Now, looking at the interior, you see these crazy Recaro seats. They thought the 918 seats weren't light enough, so they replaced them with Recaro seats. These are around 5 kilograms each, and look how much openings and ventilation they have in them. They've actually used 3D printing technology to make these ventilation panels inside them. These are cushiony, yet strong and solid, and they allow for some breathing when drivers are on the racetrack. Of course, you still have very thick padding. Look how thick this padding is, just to make sure you're still comfortable when driving this car. Look at the central armrest. Instead of having the Porsche logos, they've added the flies over here. I don't think you can get anyone to ride with you without them getting really impressed. And look at that additional roll cage, which by the way doesn't come standard in the 911 Turbo. They've added this, as well as deleting the rear seats, to just reduce weight and make it more track focused. Now, due to the weather conditions, as you've seen, it's raining a lot. The roads are damp, so it's a big risk taking a car as rare as the Flyweight and driving it in these conditions. The Flyweight had the Cup 2R tires, which are also not as good in the wet and in the rain as the Cup 2s, which are here. Even the Cup 2s are not suitable, but we have to manage. The sun is out for a bit, so let's make use of this and experience the GTS. So what has been done to the GTS? Now, in terms of mechanical stuff, the engine, they have upgraded the turbos from the regular GTS, whereas the GTS is a 3-liter twin turbo with 475 horsepower. They have taken this up all the way to 640 horsepower here on the GTS. So you're talking 911 turbo kind of power. And the torque figure is even as crazy. It's 720 Newton meters. But the main advantage I see of this over having the turbo is with the GTS, you can still have the option of rear-wheel drive. For those of you who like to have a little bit more fun on the roads, you can have an almost turbo-like performance with a rear-wheel drive variant without having to pay something crazy like you do on the Sport Classic, for example. So that's what Techart allows you to do. Aside from that, the engine has different filters. It has an exhaust system. It has mapping of the engine and the gearbox. So everything has been tuned to Techart spec. Now the roads are still damp, so I can't even floor it in the GTS, especially that this is a rear-wheel drive car. But what we can enjoy is the downshifts. It's much louder than the regular GTS. and you have a lot of pops and bangs. It definitely changes the characteristics of the car and the way the car feels on the road. It becomes more of a racing experience. Also, the programming of the downshifts are different, so you will get some benefits in terms of gear changes in the Techart variant. Now, in terms of handling, the GTS comes from the factory with superior handling to other 911 models. Take that into consideration and add to it the fact that Techart also has lowering springs on the car, and you actually have improved traction and handling on the GTS. In terms of pricing, what does this cost? So the aero kit on this car is roughly 30,000 euro. That's everything you see outside with the carbon parts and everything. Don't quote me on this figure. I'm not sure if this is accurate, but these are rough figures. And the engine modification that has been done to the car with the engine tuning and the different mechanical parts, it's roughly around 20,000 euros. So in total, we are looking at 50,000 euros. Of course, this is still much cheaper than what you have to pay for something like the Flyweight. So the Flyweight pricing of that vehicle is around $750,000, and that's without the base 911 turbo. So you have to give them the turbo, and then on top of that, pay the $750,000. This is in summary the GTS and the Flyweight from Techart. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and thank you for the support, and see you in the next one. Cheers.